Welcome back to Introduction to Computer Science at SSFS. In the next unit, we're going to take a look at variables, expressions, and statements. And variables are a way for the computer to keep track of certain pieces of information. And in Python, it's very easy to deal with variables. Before we get started, I'm actually going to open my PyCharm back up, and I'm going to create a new file to work with. So I'm going to go to File, New, Python file, and I'm going to call it variables.py. Go ahead and delete this. And I created a new file, but for the most part we won't be working with a file. We can do most of what we need to in the Python console. So I'm going to go to Tools, open up Python console, and actually make this window a little bit bigger so we can see. So in Python, all you have to do to create a variable is to type your variable name and then assign it a value. And the way you assign it a value is with the equal sign. So for example, if I want to give x the value of 5, I would type x equals 5. I hit enter, and now x has the value of 5. And if I want to print that out, I hit print x, and it prints out 5, which is the value. And notice I said assign the value. I didn't say equal to. And you hear that a lot in computer science. You usually don't see computer scientists say x equals 5. They say x is assigned the value of 5 because equality denotes a comparison between two things, and really we're assigning the variable a value. So let's talk a minute about what makes a good variable name. In this case I used variable name of x to equal 5, and if I was just keeping track of a simple piece of information, that might be fine. But let's say I was talking about the radius of a circle. It might be a lot more descriptive to have radius of circle equals 5. Now when someone else reads my code, they know exactly what that variable is representing, and it's a lot more descriptive than a simple x. And notice when I wrote it, each new word was capitalized. So the O in of was capitalized, and C in circle was capitalized, but the R in radius was not. And in general, you should always start your variables with a lowercase letter. It is possible and legal to start with an uppercase letter, but that's usually reserved to mean something different, which we'll talk about later. So for right now, just go ahead and start all your variables with a lowercase letter. Another way to create an effective variable name is by the use of underscores. So instead of using the alternating uppercase, lowercase, which is sometimes called camel case because it looks like it has a hump in it, I can use underscores. So I can say radius underscore of underscore circle equals 5. And again, both of those are perfectly legal. It's sort of a style choice, which one you think is most effective. The most important thing is to be consistent. Don't mix camel case and underscores in the same program. Just be very, very consistent. One last thing about variable names is there are certain reserved words in Python that cannot be used as variables. For example, if you remember in our turtle unit when we looked at loops, we had a for loop, and I cannot use the word for as a variable name. So if I try to type for equals 6, it gives me a syntax error, which means something's wrong in my line. So I can't use the reserved word for. If you look at the reading for chapter 3, you will see a list of all the reserved keywords that cannot be used as Python variable names. You can also find that information online. That's it for this video. In the next one, we'll talk about the different types of data that you can store in variables.